level dashboards and BI reports. Anybody familiar with ClickSense? No one. Why? Nice. Okay, good. So you don't know the hassle behind it. Good. Well, I helped to centralize dashboard for 200 million organization, centralize everything in one place in ClickSense, and also had the pleasure to help the organization, about $2 billion organization, sales and engineering, build some AI agents, and I helped the organization with that. And I am senior manager of AI technical solutions at Ingersoll Rand. This is a Fortune 500 company, it's a manufacturer. So I had quite an experience of BI and AI. Before I go here, so how many of you are in BI? Raise your hand. All right. So how many of you are in AI? Okay. How many of you run your company or have a business? Quite a few. Very nice. Good. I'm happy because I am here to talk about BI, AI, and how to transform your organization so that it is AI native. So very nice crowd. Now, how I came to this vision is basically, I'm fan of this guy, so YC Incubator, and they recently, last few months, are talking a lot about how to build the AI native companies or how to build a company that is queryable. It's a new term. We're going to dive in a little bit. Also, I spend a lot of time talking with different BI leaders about this vision, where BI is heading, and what is the future of BI. And also, I got my personal inspiration for this product that is internal brain or AI agent that runs and queries any information of entire organization. This is called Coco. It's a Cortex code. Basically, you chat with your data, with your company, and it gives you the information that helps you to make informed decisions. So these are all the inspiration of this talk. Let's dive in. Now, let's go back with BI. I'm not gonna tell all the history, but why we needed BI? Because we had too much data and not too much hours. So that's why we needed business intelligence, BI. I don't remember the era of warehouse because I was too young at the time, but I remember the dashboard era where we had Tableau, BI. Anybody working in Tableau now? Okay. Anybody in Power BI? Oh, wow, thank you. So we have some BI folks here. All right. Well, that's encouraging. Okay. Then we have NLP, AI analyst that can query your information with prompts and basically get the data. So you're interacting with dashboards. That's something new, right? But that's a new concept that I'm introducing based on this, all the analysis that I did and talked with different people. And also I observed how other top niche companies are approaching BI in their entire organization. And this is queryability, where you have every source connected and you have one answer. So that's a queryable company. Okay, let's go on. Well, I hit the wall when they asked me, I think 2 years ago, we want to build a dashboard. So, if you work in BI, it's what they ask is like, we want a dashboard, let's build a dashboard. So if you have ever built a dashboard, we all know what it takes. It's talking with the stakeholders or future users, understanding what they need, what KPIs they need, what dimensions, what filters. And then you're going with the data engineering to dig all this and bring all this data in one place in data lake and build beautiful charts. And voila, here is a dashboard, right? Okay, I did the same, connected eight sources, talk with most of the users that will be using this dashboard, connected even like ML model to predict the conversion rates and all these things. After 2-3 months, it turned out that it was one number and even more questions. So dashboard supposed to answer a question. Let's say, example, win rate is 17%. Now we entered in a room, 10 minutes, there's like 10 or 7 to 10 people asking very different questions. Okay, but why is this number? What's the comparison between last quarter to this quarter? Why this industry is dropping down? What can we do if we hire 10 more people? What can we do if we enter in this market? So the dashboard needed even more to dig. So you need even more people to analyze this dashboard. So create another additional dashboards, right? So it was that moment that I felt that there's something wrong. It's the dashboards is not working. So we need something else. And that was the time when this AI analyst came on the stage and people started basically putting some data there and they started reasoning and connecting the dots. So it was a bit a help of this stage, but all the problem was that there was data. There was a lot of data. That's why BI exists, right? We need to connect all this data in one place. And however, what was lacking is the intelligence behind that, or we can call it reasoning, to answer this question, why, right? So you need BI to answer why. Okay, so now what is missing? To understand the trend or any number behind, what is the story behind, we need context, business context. What is the purpose of the company? What is the purpose of the department, organization, or the purpose of the strategy? What is interpretation of each number, or how is sales connected with the marketing campaign? How is everything connected? So we need some context. We need reasoning why each variable changes and what it impacts, and where other variables are correlated to each other and things like that. You need some system that basically explains you why and also tell you what to do. So that's what every user wanted. They just didn't want to see the number. They just wanted to, okay, but what now? So every user looking at the dashboard is asking, I see the numbers, I see the trend, so what? So what to do now? Everybody wants help in making informed decision and act on it. Okay, so that's what was broken. Now, how to solve it? Can AI solve it? Some of you may say yes, some of you may say maybe, or some I talked are against AI. Well, understand, but AI is just another tool to solve the problems. For me, AI is basically a dessert. And dessert cannot solve hunger. So you're hungry. Can tiramisu help you? A little bit. Depends. But in most cases, we want a real meal. We want a real deal. We want to eat real food. So I bring an example here. So we have a meal which represents data. That's a real food. And then you have AI so that we have data. So AI can do something with it. So that's in combination represents a solution of hunger. Okay, so you have food, you have dessert. I'm not hungry anymore. Sorry, it's after works and some of you may feel a bit hungry. Okay, now let's go back to where I started. So traditional BI was basically somebody built a dashboard and answered. That's what happened. Then we came to the era we have like a menu of reports in the dashboards where anyone can self-serve and use their filters, use their dimensions to filter this dashboard or this KPI to understand their particular business or brand or the strategy. Then came the AI analyst, where reasoning came more like an explanation of why. So that's basically the era we are now, and we're heading into the queryability. That's a queryable company that I'm gonna unlock today with you. So that's queryable company. A definition is that where you have every source connected and you have one question and one answer, and this answer is derived from multiple interconnected data. So queryable company is where every piece of the company can be queried. So can be called and can be reasoned. So what's the future of BI? That's building a queryable company. Now, if you're in a small business, that's why I ask the question if you're a business owner, because that's much easier, because if your company is a small company, it's better and it's easier to build that queryability in your company. And I'm gonna unlock on the way what that means. And after that, you are getting the results so that you can be on Cyprus on a beach and basically understanding with your AI queryability agent what's going on with your business and what you should you do, and explain every why you have it. But if it's a large organization, there's also the reference architecture we're gonna reference today, which means that we need to apply the same approach but more decentralized way. So we build the agent represents the supply chain, HR, or marketing, and then there is the executive agent that brings them all together. And still, the vision is the same. You query your entire organization. Okay, so that's the architecture I am talking. So basically, you ask a question to executive agent. An executive agent is basically orchestrator that orchestrates within, depending on the question, it orchestrates within different agents to get the answer. For example, the question is, what's the single most important thing I should focus on this week to hit our targets? The dashboard cannot answer this question because you need reasoning, you need connection between sales, marketing, finance, cost structure, strategy, and company policies and things like that. So all your strategic objectives, right? So that's why you need to have a decentralized, specialized agent within the organization that basically is best in what they are in: sales agent, in finance agent, marketing, so on. So executive agent, based on the question, it orchestrates, sends the query, sends the signals, and the agent decentralizing their data is getting answers. And then one answer can be derived interactively with multiple agents. So one agent gives you answer, and then second agent brings the answer, and that's where synthesis happens and the synergy happens, and comes out more like a high quality reasoning. An executive agent delivers you the output. This architecture is based on a few building blocks. As we said, to build a queryable company, you need a very good data foundation. That's the real food, and then you need AI to act on it. So there's a few layers that I'm gonna unlock. So far, are you with me? All right, good. So now to build data foundation, we have unstructured and structured data. We all know the structured data is everything that lives in the rows and the columns, basically anything that you can imagine in Excel file, things like that. And unstructured data is your audio, video, textual data, images, and so on. And a semantic layer is a real gold. This is where your business context lives. Here you put your business strategy, strategic objectives. You explain what each number represents. For example, the revenue, just a revenue KPI. It's not just sum in a bracket, sum column. It has a meaning. What does it mean? It's something minus costs and taxes and things. It's a context, right? So it's semantic layer basically explaining your business, your strategic artifacts, your objectives, your basically project repositories, what you have built before. So it lives here so that AI, you pass that to AI as a brain, helping to understand your business, right? And then MCP connectors. So the era of not having connection between some third-party tools is over because of the MCPs. They can connect to the sources or the tools that you were not able before. So now all these 4 blocks helps you have very good meal at the table, very good data foundation. Okay, so I'm gonna break down the unstructured and structured data. This slide is from 2014 and it did not change. You can see here that structured data is only 20% versus almost 80% unstructured data. Reminder, unstructured data is all your audio, textual data, all your PDF files and everything that you basically, we don't call data, but in this era, they are data and very good data. And the structured data is basically in your Excel files and anything that lives in databases, relational databases. And growth per year is just so huge. And the number from 2026 that I took it just before this presentation is that it's almost the same. So unstructured data is not created well. So there's a lot of opportunities. If you have any business idea or any, you can build anything, how to create, how to basically use unstructured data, store, prepare, clean, organize. There's a lot of opportunities. So it's one thing. And we have data, we build the data. Now it's about brain, this AI, the dessert. That's kind of a BI, let's call it BI agent. This is AI agent that takes all your data that you see on the left side. You have structured data, your CRM data, your ERP, your this Excel, and everything that you collect somewhere, maybe in Snowflake or Databricks or AWS or Azure or whatever AI data infrastructure you're using, but you need one to process all this data depending on the size of the company. Unstructured data, same way. Like there is so big data that you don't need all, so you need to decide what to collect, which emails, because not all of them make sense, or which textual data, which PDF file. So you have to have a good strategy to collect what, because the size of the warehouse may be overwhelmed. So that needs to be taken care of well, and MCPs to get those data that you did not connect before. And you have this brain in the middle. Those who are in AI engineering, it's pretty obvious what each one means, but basically it's LLM where you have all your Claude or GPT or Gimme or anything. And you have the semantic layer basically to it's connected to the business context and your data vectorized. And then you have memory, so that when you ask anything in the agent, it remembers what you asked before, and so it builds up the story and remembers about you. And all this layer represents the brain. And the output is your answer, analysis, your actions, your recommendations. So basically, you need this part. But to get this part that dashboards didn't provide, now you have all the building blocks, all the data, the brain, and an output, which is actionable. So your business users don't ask you 5 other times what this KPI means and why it's dropping and what to do. They can chat, they can understand, the AI agent will reason for them and gives them suggestions what to do. So now end result is that, let's say you ask a question, summarize everything important that happened across the company today, explain why, name the biggest risks and opportunities, and recommend 3 actions for tomorrow. That's a lot. The dashboard cannot answer this, right? That's a lot of questions. And that's what business needs. What to do tomorrow. So with this executive agent and reference infrastructure answers that, because it goes to each agent, gets the answers, reasons, and comes back with this synthesis. So cash is fine for 14 months. That's a finance agent is telling us that cash is good. Then healthcare is at risk. Some deals are going bad. Converting 2x lower. Tomorrow, focus on these deals. You can say which ones, send me the name of the account manager working on this, and what to do. So it's more actionable thing. So basically, your AI agent is helping you manage your company or helps the business users to make better decisions. That's the end result. Okay, so now before we worked a lot for dashboards, building dashboards that was useful or not useful. Now, basically, it works for you. It helps you to run your company, to run your department, to run your specific focus in your business. So somebody will ask this question, but what about dashboards? Do they die? Is BI ending? No, it's not ending. It's just transforming, right? So the way it is transforming right now is that your dashboards are basically one of the output, but it's not the interface anymore. The interface is whatever, chat-based or anything that AI can give you the results, some in display. But dashboard or a chart is just one of the outputs. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the Bocos.io that is operating system that basically is an example of queryable company. So here we have, this is the operating system that if you have a barber shop or a dental clinic or any service organization, you can use this tool, Focus.io, and have your customers, your appointments, your suppliers, all your messages or your unstructured data, your policy, your PDF files, everything in one place. And AI is connecting, is touching every single piece of your organization. So whatever you ask, it goes through every piece of the company about you and tells you what to do. And we will see that in action. So the queryable companies, every piece of the company can be queried. Now, this is a demo. And we can see that there's a basic dashboard and the calendar. You have the appointments, you have your customers, your messages, what you asked, employees, compensation, services, what you do, some charts, but AI analysts. So let's say I am out of the town and I'm asking, okay, where do we have open capacity? An agent runs, checks your bookings, your customers, your revenue, your payments, your operations, and gives you summary of what's happening, what's the open capacity. Now, what are 2 actions I should do to use that open capacity, right? So it queries about my bookings, about what is the availability of the staff and everything. So AI gives me recommendations. Now, run this promo this afternoon and very actionable steps. That's a queryable company. So it's all about queryable company. And in this era, companies win not because they have good dashboards, but because they have good data blocks, data foundation, and all their contextual knowledge is a part of this ecosystem. And this is the takeaway of today, a queryable company, which is where every piece of the company is queryable, is connected and ready for AI to be used. Thank you.
Where's my microphone? Yeah. So now Lasha is ready to take questions. Please raise your hand and I will come up to you. First person. We will go by row.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. My question is the fundamental thing, which is the data and semantic layer, basically, because the AI agents and all the BI system operates on the data. And how can we ensure, do you know, some maybe more modern ways that our semantic model and data is accurate and whatever answers AI agents gives us and the recommendations, they're accurate?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, you have to choose any data platform where you can basically put all your data or at least make some centralization. And when you start building semantic layers, these data platforms have the ways to save and also improve. So it's kind of like a loop where you always improve the semantic layers. And also, if you put in a production, you will understand based on the questions or the answers and the likes and dislikes from the users, if your semantic layer makes sense. And it's a constant improvement loop where you have like auto-feeding your semantic layer, so it improves over time. I don't want to mention the names, but there are some, after this meeting, I can talk about this, but there are very nice infrastructure where you can save and improve your semantic layers. Thank you for the question.
Mariam, Bank of Georgia. Thank you for your presentation. And quick question. Solutions like Focus.io, are they for smaller businesses or can they also serve for global like enterprises? And if not, like for the company you work for, what do you have this like querying business culture? And do tools like Focus.io help you, or do you need to build your own agentic solutions?
Yeah, good question. So okay, yes, it's for the small companies, small service companies, but for the big companies, there are different architectures. For example, a Snowflake or Databricks have this, first of all, data storage warehouses where you can say, well, your unstructured, structured data, semantics, connect your MCPs, and build agents, build these decentralized specialist agents for finance, for marketing. You make it the best in their position. And then you have the infrastructure where you have like executive agent that delegates or orchestrates within this army of the agents. So at the end, you still get this queryable company where you ask a question and this orchestrator takes to the agent that is the best at it and get the output, and you have still reasoning and actions and recommendations. So there exists. There is in Snowflake, there is one in Databricks, and I think there's Azure has also this tech stack. Yes, these are designed for more like enterprise level companies. But for small companies, the tool that I introduced is because my friends built that. Yes.
Thank you for presentation. My name is Vlad, and my question is: you said that the output is like actions that you can implement based on data. So I think is it can be like quality enough, because does AI understand like why things happen? So you can see dynamics from the data, but can AI really tell you what to do?
Yes, a good question. Still, you're responsible of your actions. AI recommends, but human can make mistakes when they make decisions, right? I mean, AI, as I mentioned in the beginning, is just another tool to help you make the informed decision, the best out of at this moment, right? So yes, AI could be wrong and was wrong many times, but you have AI recommendations. You have your judgment, and you are taking that as an input of your decision, but not as the ultimate decision, right? But thanks for the question. It was good.
Any other questions?
So my question is, well, once we are building trust with the AI and we make the company queryable, for our non-technical stakeholders, one mistake, one AI hallucination might mess up certain things. So my question is how to make sure that we maintain this trustability, because what you introduced is quite new, and maybe for most of us it's understandable, but for non-technical stakeholders it might seem a bit foreign and a bit far away. So how do we make sure that after implementation we maintain the trustworthiness of AI agents that are operating?
Yeah, a very good question. So have you used ChatGPT 1 year ago, right? And you use probably today is a very different tool. So it evolves. The same way, if you build a queryable company, you don't expect 100% accuracy in a first launch, but it's agility. So you build, you improve, but it starts with the mindset. Do I want that tool to use in the best way possible? Then I have to have this kind of a patience to get to that stage, but I need to accept the error rate. Error rate may be 5% now, but in 1 year is 2%. Then it's gonna be 1% and 0.5%. So it's gonna evolve. Like we've seen the AI products, right? So the Claude 1 year ago is different than Claude we use today. Like it's absolutely different. So there will be the system you build, same way. But if you don't use it, if you don't do that, then your competitors would. So it's better to get in the game early and have that patience of the error. And over time, it reaps its product. Thank you.
Do we have any more questions? I think we still have some time. Okay, no more questions. Thank you, Lasha, so much.
Thank you.
Now our host speaker, Mariam, will join us. Mariam is a lead business analyst at EPAM and
Hi.
a product owner. Mariam is a veteran speaker. She has presented at DataFest a few years back with an interesting topic about the future. Lasha was mentioning that as well. Everyone is wondering what will happen in the future. Will AI take our jobs? So I guess Mariam will try to answer that question. Okay, floor is yours, Mariam, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm audible, right? You can hear me. Okay. I'm Mariam, and today I'm going to talk about the one question that probably goes in every analyst's mind. What happens to my career in the era of AI, and is it over? I'm a Lead BI Analyst and product owner at EPAM. Past 7 years, I've been building data products for FMCG, insurance, and retail and distribution company. And currently, I'm working for one of the biggest global athletic apparel and footwear company. And every time during the small talks before the meetings, I end up in the discussions of around one specific question. Will AI replace analysts? I want to ask you, how many of you think that AI is a threat for analysts and it's going to replace them? Please raise your hands. Okay, interesting. So the audience is split. Some of you think that it replaced, some of it doesn't. And we actually, during our small talks, the audience is split as well. But what actually we should be talking about more is not will AI replace analysts, but where do my values shift when the production becomes faster? Because what AI does is that it replaces the execution part of the analyst and not the full role itself. So it goes more to where should we focus on, because when production becomes faster, the market doesn't want the same job done several times, because AI can create better and faster SQL queries, drafts, summaries, everything, modeling even. So the human force is shift to more of an validation part, because AI has many problems. One of the main problem is AI hallucination. We'll talk about that a little later. But shifting the analyst role to more valuable part is where we going to eliminate the first myth. AI will take over analysts. This is a biggest myth that is currently at the market. And let me give you one case back in the day. So once upon a time, when our world lived peacefully, one software was introduced. And the panic started over several jobs that particular software would completely kill one particular job. And the panic was so enormous that it even led the university enrollments decreased by 1/3 for that one particular program. And it reached the climax when around 4 years' time, universities saw 1/3 drop, 33% drop of enrollment of the freshmen on that program. And do you know by chance what program I'm talking about, and what is the software that almost at least was thought would kill the job? Excel versus accountants. So what happened was that everyone thought Excel was going to kill the accountants. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but me personally, after 30 years later, even more, I really don't experience the lack of accountants around me in my everyday corporate life. Quite contrary, actually. They are everywhere you look around. And surprisingly, I also haven't met a person who knows Excel better than accountants. So what they did was that the very tool that was thought to replace and kill their work, they took it as their greatest competitive advantage. That that analogy can't be used one-to-one for analysts as well, because AI, the pace the AI is taking over is exponentially higher than the pace Excel took over. But the point is understandable. It is a tool, not a team member, and it replaces what we do, not our need. That's the first thing. And the second myth that we want to talk about, because of the human need, is AI is smart and trustworthy. I mean, of course it is smart and trustworthy. We don't doubt it here. However, AI hallucinates and it gets confused, and it is so good at making things up. It is so good at convincing something that is completely wrong that it is right for you. And this confusion is very important, because humans are the ones who should take the responsible on what is ready to face the public and what products are ready to be demonstrated to customers or stakeholders or whoever they are, because nobody's going to blame AI when things go wrong. So yeah, it hallucinates, and that's the reason. Oh, I recently had actually one case. I look at the query that AI generated. It was so beautiful. It was so good. It was so well structured. It used all the right tables. It used everything right. And I was looking at it and I was like, wow, what a Harry Potter magic. Then I ran the query and the outcome was also a Harry Potter magic, because it was nothing realistic. So that's the reason why people build agents over agents on top of agents on top of agents. They have even worker agents, then they have critic agents to somehow eliminate the hallucination that actually AI is basically AI's biggest problem. Validation is important. Validation is most important in this era when production gets faster. The next one, because we've talked about AI hallucination, we can say prompting equals expertise. Of course not. Prompting is a skill when someone is good to use AI effectively. But prompting is a part of analyst skill set. It's not the supplement of the whole analyst role. So domain knowledge is the one, and business context is the one that wins in the situation, because AI can give you good dashboards. AI can give you everything that can be based on that particular data, but it doesn't know the context. It doesn't know that, for example, for your business in this quarter, more concentration is on margin rather than revenue. So it will give you everything that is based on data that should be in an ideal world and what steps you should make in an ideal world. But this world is way far from being ideal. So yeah, prompting is a skill. Prompting is important. Every analyst should know prompting, but it cannot, it doesn't equal expertise, because business context wins in this situation. But it doesn't mean that AI doesn't have an enormous effect on us. And you know this saying, day by day nothing seems to change, but pretty soon everything's different. That's what happened. Day by day we got adopting AI one tool, this like partially, or maybe okay, a little analysis, okay, a little query. But at the end, if you compare what was done, what was an analyst role in 2020 and what is analyst role in 2026, that is completely different. The first part is task executor. The day started with ad hoc requests from emails or Slacks or Teams or whatever you use. Then you needed to do manual pulls and then started querying. Oh, then you hit the error, then you need to rewrite it and then reconcile the spreadsheets, because for some reason even the totals doesn't match, let alone the deeper part. Chasing definitions across team, because different teams call the same thing different names, and the one name was different understanding in different teams. So yeah, then you needed to revoke logic when requests were changed and manually do that, manually update everything, Confluence pages, documentations, artifacts that the request was changed. So it took time, and late night you were building the slides, because everyone who you explain something understands everything better when it's visualized. So that was the day. Now what happens today? Of course, ad hoc analysis didn't go anywhere, but you have more time to concentrate on the product development. So your mindset shifts from task executor to product thinker. First, you start the day by clarifying the business questions and goals first, how the product can evolve, what this decision is fitting, what the good is, what should be the new version, what should be the new feature, everything. You have time during the day to think of it. You do the ad hoc part that took the whole day in 2020 is now only in point 2 and point 3. That's probably hour and a half work, because you generate SQL queries with AI, you validate it, of course. You review AI-generated drafts and all the reconciliation logic updates on the documentations that is done already by AI automatically. There you can trust it. You focus on definitions, grain, and governance. Governance, that is important now as ever, because governance defines everything. Governance in the AI era where everything can be reachable, governance for the big companies, even the small ones, becomes the biggest threat, because you in the situation when AI can build the slides, when AI can query for you, you unconditionally give access to everyone to everything. So governance is the most important thing now. Then you review AI-assisted things and spend time on content priority. And let me give you one example from my work. 3 years ago, I was requested to build a product, and it was rebuilding the product. It was quite kind of clunky product, legacy solution, heavy, it wasn't operating well, and cherry on top, the sources that legacy product used were being divested, so it was rebuilding the product from the scratch. It took me 2 weeks, like the whole sprint, to prepare source to target mapping, to prepare artifacts, to prepare documentation on Confluence, and to plan the development and put the tasks on Jira for the engineers. So 2 weeks to kind of start to unblock the engineers and start the work. 3 weeks ago, I received the same request, similar request, but for the different product, to build the product. I started very early because I didn't want to get distracted, and by the lunchtime, I had source to target mapping, I had product documentations, I had press releases, and I had Jira tickets planned for the engineers. So then I took my lunch break and then came back and validated everything that was created by AI, and it was drafted. And the next day, engineers were unblocked to start development. So 2 weeks, and it was very intense 2 weeks. I was working not day and night, but I was working quite heavily to actually produce whatever I produced in 2 weeks. It took me 1 day to unblock the engineers from the scratch. So yeah, that's the effect AI is having now, and the production gets faster and the analyst involvement becomes bigger, because the faster the production is, the higher the impact of the mistake becomes. So you don't have enough time to improve the or cancel or rework the mistake that is already fully up and running, because that's how fast the production becomes. So analyst's role becomes more to the validation part, because somebody should take the responsibility on when production goes wrong, and that somebody is the last person who touched the ChatGPT thingy before it ran the production. So that's how the day changed. And as a tasks based on my experience, this is what happened. Oh, sorry. Yeah, AI is taking over any manual work. SQL querying, documentation and specs, data profiling, summaries and report drafts, root cause hypothesis at a very low level that you need to then understand. But humans still owns accountability for decisions, trade-offs under uncertainty. That is an important one, because nor AI, neither data gives you one clear direction and one clear answer. You need to know the context, you need to know the domain to make the decision what to choose when AI suggests you something or when data gives you some ways. Stakeholder trust. Actually, stakeholder trust is probably the most important, because honestly speaking, they are the ones who are paying for you. So stakeholder trusts your team and your ability to build the product, not ChatGPT or not Gemini or not Cloud Code or not Cursor. Stakeholder trust is what brings you the products. And it cannot be built by a model. Strategy and prioritization, because again, as I mentioned, the priority might be, I don't know, revenue over margin this quarter, and AI has no idea about it. And sign off on what ships. This is the important one. AI can build very beautiful dashboards or give you very beautiful queries, even the correct ones, but it cannot stand in the team facing your users saying that I stake my reputation on this number. But when something goes wrong, again, you are the one to blame. So humans still are on the edge of validation because, again, nobody's gonna blame ChatGPT. They're gonna blame human. And you have to have the reputation that your work is validated. If you're a team without an analyst, and if you just have agents on top of agents on top of agents, then when something goes wrong, your users won't go and blame the cursor or code or whatever was used to build the product. They're gonna blame you, the team. So whoever takes the responsibility is whoever is in charge. But we've talked that many skills can be replaced and automated by AI, right? The SQL querying and every kind of draft things. So this is a graph. First of all, first things first, this graph doesn't show how many entry-level jobs are affected by AI. It shows what portion of the job can be automated by AI. It's not the usage graph, because the higher you climb on the ladder, surprisingly, you use AI more. So the POPM part that shows like small amount is not a usage graph. This is what part of the job set can be automated by AI. And unfortunately, entry levels and juniors are affected, of course, because their work is more related to SQL queries and draft creation and summary creation and model draft creation. So yeah, they unfortunately are affected, but it's not like a hopeless situation. We're going to discuss it a little later. But one point, if you're intern to middle, don't compare AI on speed. You will lose that game. Because you're competing with the machine, and machine is always faster than you. You're gonna lose it. As AI impact goes up, your defense is judgment, validation, and of course, business understanding, domain knowledge. You need to know what to ask AI. You need to know the thing that you were asked to prepare SQL queries or prepare some kind of, I don't know, logical data model draft, of course. Before you start that, you need to know the domain knowledge, so you ask the correct question. So the output is something that then your senior will approve. So you need to know the business understanding. And as impact goes down, your defenses, trust, leadership, and transformation, basically everything that was in your job description even before AI. So the impact on POPM or leads are a little lower, because AI helps them do their job, not automate their job. Let's go deeper. What changes on every level, and what is your edge, and what you should invest in? Entries and juniors, highest impact, as we mentioned, because AI drafts everything they do. But curiosity and learning, I cannot mention learning the domain enough, because every time I'll have opportunity, I will put that in the sentence, because that's the biggest thing entries and juniors can do. But the situation is not hopeless, because remember the Excel and accountant situation? I bet that back in the day, junior accountants at least were the ones who were calculating on paper or using calculators or do manual work and stuff, and Excel really did automated that. But 30 years after, they still have junior accountant as a position. They even have interns. So no, your job is not dead. It's just you need to shift from a strategic and structured development of yourself rather than doing AI drafts, queries, and documents. So just to give you an example, if now interns or entry levels or juniors job is 70% manual work that senior is too lazy to do, and 30% for self-development, learning, and domain knowledge. After several years, this will shift, and it will be 30% for the manual work and 70% for development. Because as we said, as the production becomes faster, companies do not hire interns for them to stay interns. They want them to develop and become seniors and become leads. And doesn't matter what AI does, companies still needs this talent pipeline. So it just shifts what you do. Middle and senior, AI assist requirements and exploration. So on this level, you are already expected to work independently. You don't need senior or you don't need middle to guide you on your everyday tasks. You do everything. You do the requirements, you do the scope, you do the SQL, you do the mapping, you do the validation, you do the new source validation. So you do everything. What AI helps you is AI automates most of the work, and your edge is trade-offs. Now, this is the most important edge. This is something that is important for middle and senior, because on that level, as they are expected to work independently already, they are also responsible on their decisions, and trade-offs is something that they need to keep in mind. For example, AI cannot tell them to I don't know, approve a product to production in a month that has 80% of accuracy, 90% of accuracy, or approve a product to production after 3 months and the product has 100% accuracy. That decision is up to you, and you will be judged if the stakeholders are not happy with the 80% accurate reports in 1 month. So trade-offs, you have the context, you have everything. And mentoring others. You mentor, especially entry levels and juniors, how to validate the AI output. And that's a skill now. Can you believe that? Middle people are judged if they can mentor others, if they can validate AI outputs. Yeah. So mentor others how to use AIs. And dear leads and PLPMs, you are so chilled. AI supports your plans and docs, so you have more time to think of the product or the beautiful futures that your product can have. So yeah, ownership, leadership, transformation, and setting the rules how your team or your organization uses AI. So you do not compete with the machine, you are the one who sets the rules. So you're the lowest AI impacted person. Now, skills to compound. There are 3 sets of skills that everyone on, doesn't matter what position they hold on this career ladder. Foundational one. These are the skills that everyone needs to know. Doesn't matter if it's an entry level or a PO. SQL, data literacy, requirements, thinking, validation, discipline. When you are affected by AI and you need to use AI, you need to understand what goes behind that AI, how that AI operates, what it produces, how it builds whatever it builds. So understanding querying, first of all, data literacy is very important. And yeah, of course, domain knowledge, of course. Accelerators, this is something that is similar to what happens to Excel and accountants. You need to know AI tool fluency, but you do not sacrifice speed for judgment. Because once you do that, your AI beautiful company is going to blow a little. The thing is that you cannot survive without AI tool, because as we mentioned several times, the production became faster and it is easier to deploy something in a day or so. So if your colleague who uses AI adds value to the production because they are faster, then if you refuse to leverage AI in your day-to-day work, you will be the one who will be affected by AI and replaced by AI. Not directly by AI, but someone who adds the value into fast-end production. Because again, you cannot compete on the speed. It will win all the time. So the colleague who knows how to use it will win over you. And multipliers. Multipliers are some kind of skill set that you need that guarantees your career growth. If technical skills are the ones that get you in, business skills move you up. So as an analyst, if you want to grow, you need to have multipliers, because you won't get promoted if you do not know the domain depth, product thinking, governance, and leadership. And yeah, remember my 3 weeks or 2 weeks over 1 day example that I needed 2 weeks whole sprint to prepare something for engineers, and now I needed 1 day to onboard the engineers. The AIs that I used and I use every day, Databricks. Oh, Databricks, Jenny, is the perfect one. So it's something that helps you in everything data related. If you want to, I don't know, map something, if you want to validate something, if you want to analyze something, if you want to even prepare queries, if your work in a Databricks setup, Databricks Genie is perfect for that. Gemini, of course, research. Copilot, everything that is corporate related. if it's requirements drafts, if it's summaries, if it's even slide draft creation, if it's content creation, if it's I don't know, personal consultant or the therapist or whatever. Copilot does your job. Copilot gives you ideas. Copilot summarizes your meetings. Copilot creates drafts for you, everything. And Claude Code for everything code related. If it's refactoring or creating a query, or even some of my colleagues use it to create also the demo decks, because it can do that too. Or if you want to create a mock application and download it to only your phone, because it's hard to go to production, but as a development version, Claude Code can build a application for you, even if you've never written your code once in a life. So you ask something good turns up in your mind, Claude Code can do it. And Cursor AI. Cursor is for everything. Confluence documentation updates, because you can link it. The GitHub link, the model and graphs creation, the Miro and Lucid chart link, because Cursor creates the, I think they call it mermaid link, and then you just paste it to the either Miro board or to the Lucid chart, and all your funnel charts or whatever the visual related things you want to create, voila, you have it. So everything, backlog maintenance, everything is Cursor. Personally, me, I think that Claude Code and Cursor AI are the gifts from God to the mankind, because really I do not know how people worked before Cursor and Claude Code. And lastly, 5 key takeaways. If I were about to bet on something, I would bet on the 5 things that you need to master as an analyst. Doesn't matter what part of a corporate ladder you're in. Yeah, of course, apart from the obvious that you need to master the domain knowledge. That's obvious. Bet on judgment. Judgment compounds as you climb, and something that now you think as a soft skill is your moat in your future. So bet on judgment. Shift from executor to product thinker. And again, this doesn't matter what part of corporate ladder you're at, because you can own your outcome. You need to shift your mindset from just closing the Jira tickets to owning the outcome. And at any level of your career, you can own the outcome, you can be responsible on your outcome, you can know what your outcome is. So shift there. Draft fast and validate always. Gemini, Claude Code, Cursor, Copilot, you need to know these things. But first of all, you also need to know how to validate the outputs, because again, AI hallucinates and it is very good at making things up. You need to act as a human gate. Stakeholder trust that we mentioned already. Confidence and expertise is the product itself. Dashboards comes after. And last but not least, let's get back to where it started from. AI is a tool, not a threat. If analysts use AI as a tool and masters it and has the domain knowledge, it cannot replace the analysts. Analysts who thrive, they do not compete with the tool. They know how to use the time that tool freed up. So yeah, work on yourself, work on the domain, and know very well how to validate AI's outputs. Thank you. Should you have any questions, suggestions, short speeches, please feel free to raise them.
Do we have any questions? Okay, no questions, I guess.
Thank you, everyone.
It was quite elaborate, I guess. Mariam gave us all the information we need. Thank you so much for coming. I will just briefly update you on our EPAM campus. So in case you have someone who is interested in starting their career in tech, EPAM campus is a great source to get free trainings in different, and you can see the list when you visit the website. You can share it with someone that you know. Maybe you do not need training, but someone you know would want to start their career in tech. So campusipam.com, you can visit anytime and check it out. And also stay in touch. We are quite active on Facebook. Natia is somewhere around here. Also, all the updates regarding EPAM are very often posted there. New trainings, some of interesting initiatives, and etc. So stay in touch. be friends with us. Once again, I want to thank our guest speaker, Lasha, for finding time in his busy schedule to come and talk to us. It was a pleasure hosting you. Thank you, Mariam, as well, for once again sharing your knowledge. Well, stay tuned. We're going to continue with this type of meetups. I hope so. I don't know. We'll see after the vacation season is over. Thanks everyone online who has been watching. I'm not gonna say the number now because Nina is gonna be mad at me, but I haven't checked how many people have been watching. And please enjoy the refreshments, talk to each other, discuss whatever was talked about during the presentations, share your knowledge. So feel free. Please, we are not closing the doors yet. So thank you very much and see you next time.
If I told you, jump, baby, would you do it? Get right down to it. Well, I would for you. I would for you. No, there ain't no maybe, baby. No, no, it's just the truth. And nothing but the truth.